A woman in a wedding dress. A wheelchair in the snow. A single father who stopped to help. What Ben Harper didn't know that frozen December night would shatter everything he believed about trust and second chances. Because the broken bride he carried into his cabin wasn't paralyzed. She wasn't abandoned. And she definitely wasn't poor. But by the time he discovered the truth, his daughter had already seen through the lie. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button. This story gets darker than you think. Comment your city below so I can see how far this truth travels. Now let's go. She's lying to you, Dad. I can feel it. 9-year-old Lily Harper whispered those words the night everything changed. Her father ignored her. He'd learned to regret that. Ben carried the woman across his threshold, wedding dress torn and muddy legs limp in his arms. Snow fell hard behind them, erasing their tracks. "I've got you," Ben said. "You're safe now." The woman stared past him, empty eyes. That look Ben knew too well. His wife Sarah had that same look before cancer took her. He laid her on the couch. Lily stood in the corner, arms crossed, watching. Lily grabbed the first aid kit. "Dad, now. What if she's dangerous? She's hurt. Look at her." "That's what I mean." Lily's voice dropped. "What if whoever hurt her comes looking?" Ben froze. He hadn't thought of that. He never did. Just reacted. Helped. Same instinct that made him volunteer firefighter. Same instinct that got their tools stolen last spring. "Get your phone. Keep it charged. Anything feels wrong, you call 911. Got it." "Got it." Lily disappeared down the hall. Ben turned back to the woman. Beautiful, even through the dirt. That kind of beauty that came from money. Lots of it. The wedding dress alone probably cost more than his truck. "Can you tell me your name?" The woman's eyes focused on him, finally. "Charlotte." "I'm Ben. That's Lily. You're about 15 miles outside Evergreen. Do you remember what happened?" Charlotte's face crumpled. Real tears. Ben had learned to spot fake ones. "He left me," she whispered. "At the altar. In front of everyone. Said he couldn't marry someone so broken." Ben felt anger flash hot in his chest. What kind of man abandons a woman in a wheelchair at her own wedding? The wheelchair, that recent. Charlotte nodded. 6 months ago. Car crash. Doctors said I'd never walk again. Her voice broke. Grady said he loved me anyway. Said it didn't matter. But today, when he saw me rolling down that aisle, he just ran. I'm sorry. His family took the wheelchair from the church. Left me with nothing. I got into the rental car, but it broke down on the mountain road. I'd been sitting there for hours. Something didn't add up. The rental car had been empty when Ben passed it. No wheelchair inside. Lily returned with blankets and the first aid kit. Phone clutched in her hand like a weapon. Thank you, baby. Ben took the supplies and started cleaning Charlotte's arms where thorns had torn the lace. How did you get from the car to the road? Lily asked. Ben shot her a warning look. I crawled, Charlotte said, voice flat. 20 feet through snow, because what else was I supposed to do, die there? The image silenced even Lily. Ben bandaged cuts, checked for hypothermia. Charlotte's skin was cold, but not dangerous. She'd been lucky. Another hour, and the mountain would have killed her. You can stay tonight. Tomorrow we'll contact your family. I don't have family. Too quick. Just Grady, and they made it clear I'm not welcome. Friends, then? They were all his friends first. Charlotte laughed bitter. When you're in a wheelchair, people get real comfortable explaining why they can't hang out anymore. Too many stairs. Too complicated. Too much reminder that bad things happen. Ben felt that protective anger surge again. Well, you're safe here. Lily and I were about to have dinner. Just soup and bread. You're welcome to join. I couldn't impose. You already are, Lily said. Might as well eat. Lily Harper. Charlotte actually laughed. Real sound this time. She's right. And honestly, soup sounds like heaven. Ben carried her to the kitchen table. Their cabin was small. Everything second-hand. Everything earned through 16-hour carpentry days and occasional fire calls. But it was warm. It was theirs. Right now, it was sanctuary. "This is really kind," Charlotte said as Ben ladled soup. "Most people would have just called for help and kept driving. I was raised to stop." "Your mother sounds wonderful." "She was. Passed 8 years ago." "I'm sorry." Lily watched this exchange with narrowed eyes, eating in hostile silence. She'd been protective since Sarah died. Every woman who showed interest, every change to their routine, Lily treated like a threat. "This is delicious," Charlotte said. "I haven't had homemade soup in years." "You don't cook?" Strange expression crossed her face. "I used to, before the accident. Now it's complicated." "Everything's complicated now." Charlotte set down her spoon. "You can't understand. Losing everything that made you yourself, your mobility, your independence. People treat you different. Talk slower, louder, like the wheelchair affected your brain. They see the chair, not the person." Ben understood differently than she knew. He'd watched Sarah disappear into illness, watched people stop seeing the vibrant artist and only see the cancer patient. "Grady couldn't handle it," Charlotte continued. "He tried. But every date became about accessibility. Every conversation circled back to my limitations. He stopped touching me the same way, stopped looking at me like I was beautiful, started looking at me like I was a burden." "Then he didn't deserve you." Charlotte's eyes met his, searching. "You don't know me." "I know enough." "Dad always thinks he knows people," Lily interjected. Sharp. "That's how we ended up with that guy who stole our tools last spring." Lily. "It's true. You trust everyone. Then you're surprised when they're not who you thought." Charlotte went very still. "Your daughter's perceptive." "She's protective. There's a difference." "Is there?" Charlotte pushed her bowl away. "I'm exhausted. Would you mind if I slept?" "Of course. I'll carry you to the couch. Lily and I can share my room." "I'm not kicking you out." "You already are," Lily muttered. "Lily, go brush your teeth. Now." His daughter obeyed, stalking down the hall with aggressive footsteps. "She's been through a lot," Ben said, lifting Charlotte again. Light. Too light. "Lost her mother 4 years ago. It's been just us. Change is hard. She's lucky to have you." Ben settled Charlotte on the couch, arranged pillows, covered her with 3 blankets. The cabin's heating was temperamental, and December cold seeped through the logs. "If you need anything, just call out. I'm a light sleeper." "Ben." Charlotte's hand caught his wrist. Strong grip. "Why are you doing this, really?" He could have given the easy answer, about his mother's charity, about being decent. Instead, he told the truth. 4 years ago, when Sarah was dying, I worked 60-hour weeks trying to pay medical bills, trying to keep our life together. I missed things, important things. The last month, the last conversations. My neighbor Mrs. Chen just showed up one day, started cooking meals, driving Lily to school, sitting with Sarah when I had to work. Never asked for anything, just helped." Ben paused, memory still raw. "I asked her why. She said because 30 years ago, when her husband died, someone did it for her. Said kindness isn't a transaction, it's a current. You catch it and pass it forward." "So I'm your pass it forward." "Maybe. Or maybe you're just someone who needs help, and I'm someone who can give it. Does the reason matter?" Charlotte's eyes glistened. "It matters to me." "Then sleep on it. Tomorrow things will look different." They wouldn't. Ben knew that even then. Something about this woman felt like standing on a cliff edge. Next step would be solid ground or empty air. He left her there, cocooned in Blanket's wedding dress, ghostly white in the lamplight. In his bedroom, Lily was already in bed covers to her chin, face set in that stubborn expression that meant trouble. "We can't keep her, Dad." Ben sat on the bed edge. "Nobody's keeping anybody. She'll be gone tomorrow. You don't believe that. Lily, what's really bothering you? Silence. Then, in a small voice, what if you like her better than me? Ben's heart cracked. He pulled Lily into his arms. Not possible. You're my whole world. Nothing changes that. Ever. Mom used to say that too. And she meant it. Every second. You know that. Lily burrowed into his shoulder. I just don't want things to change again. We're good, just us. We don't need anyone else. We don't need. But that doesn't mean we can't help. What if helping hurts? Too wise for 9 years old. Too aware of how the world breaks you. Then we heal and keep going. That's what we do. Right? Lily sniffed, fighting tears. She's lying, Dad. That woman, Charlotte. I don't know what about. But something's wrong. What makes you say that? The way she looks at things, at our cabin, at you, like she's studying, taking notes, and her hands. What about her hands? They're not hurt. Not really. Just surface scratches. If she crawled 20 feet through snow and thorns like she said, her palms would be torn up, bleeding. But they're barely marked. Ben thought back. His daughter was right. He'd been so focused on Charlotte's legs, her tears, her story, he hadn't noticed. Maybe she had gloves. Then where are they? Lily pulled back, eyes fierce. I'm not making this up. Something's off. Okay, I believe you. But even if you're right, even if she's not telling us everything, she still needs help tonight. Tomorrow, we'll ask better questions. Deal. Promise. Promise. But Ben couldn't sleep. He lay in the dark, listening to Lily breathe, listening to wind howl, listening to the cabin creak, thinking about Charlotte's hands. Around 3 a.m. he heard movement, soft sounds from the living room. He slipped out of bed, padded barefoot down the hall. Charlotte was sitting up, illuminated by moonlight. Not crying, not doing anything, just staring at her hands, turning them over and over. Ben almost retreated. This felt private, but something made him step forward. Charlotte's head snapped up. For just a second her face held an expression Ben couldn't name. Calculation maybe, or guilt. Then it smoothed into that mask of polite sadness. I'm sorry. Did I wake you? No. Light sleeper. Remember. Right. Charlotte pulled blankets tighter. Ben noticed she'd arranged them carefully over her legs, covering them completely. I couldn't sleep either. Everything keeps replaying. Ben sat in the rocking chair, keeping distance. Want to talk about it? What's there to say I was a fool who thought love was enough? Turns out it's not. Love's never enough by itself. Takes work, honesty, trust. Honesty, Charlotte repeated softly. Interesting. Why? Because most people lie, even when they think they're telling the truth. They lie about who they are, what they want, what they're capable of. Everyone's performing, everyone's hiding something. That's pretty cynical. That's pretty realistic. Charlotte's voice hardened. Your wife sounds exceptional, but she was dying. People show their best selves when there's a deadline. Easy to be honest when you know there's an ending. The words stung. You didn't know, Sarah. I know human nature. We're all performers, all liars. Some of us are just more honest about it. Is that what you are honest about lying? The question hung in the cold air. Charlotte's eyes widened like he'd struck closer to truth than he realized. I should sleep. Thank you again. You're a good man, Ben Harper. How do you know maybe I'm performing too? Charlotte smiled. Saddest smile Ben had ever seen. Because good men don't know they're good. They just are. It's the rest of us who have to try. Ben returned to bed, but sleep was impossible. Lily's words echoed. She's lying, Dad. Charlotte's strange philosophy about performance and truth. What really happened today? Why was a woman clearly from wealth wearing a dress worth thousands stranded alone with no family, no friends, no one coming to look? And those hands. Lily was right. Scratches too shallow, too convenient. As sun began to rise, painting the snow pink and gold, Ben made a decision. Today he'd ask hard questions. Today he'd push past Charlotte's carefully constructed story. But when he walked into the living room, Lily was already awake, already standing over Charlotte's sleeping form, doing something with her phone. "Lily, what are you doing?" His daughter looked up, face pale but determined. "Dad, look." She showed him the screen. Photo of Charlotte's purse partially hidden under the couch. Sticking out was a wallet. Expensive leather embossed with initials CW. Lily had opened it. Credit cards, multiple cards, black cards, platinum cards, and cash. Hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands. New bills crisp and clean. This wasn't a woman stranded with nothing. This was a woman who'd chosen to have nothing visible, who'd created that image deliberately. "She lied," Lily whispered. "About everything." Charlotte's eyes opened. She looked at them standing over her, at the phone in Lily's hand, at her exposed wallet. Nobody moved. Then Charlotte sat up, slowly, deliberately. When she spoke, her voice was different, clearer, stronger, like she'd dropped a mask Ben hadn't even known she was wearing. "I can explain. Can you?" Ben heard the coldness in his voice. "Because right now I'm trying to figure out what kind of person lies about being helpless to manipulate strangers into taking them home. It's not like that." "Then what is it like, Charlotte Winslow?" He gestured at the wallet, the cash, the cards that screamed wealth. "What game are you playing?" "Please." Charlotte's voice cracked. But this time Ben couldn't tell if tears were real or performance. "Just give me a chance to explain. The truth is complicated." Truth usually is. Lies are simple. Ben stepped back, putting himself between Charlotte and Lily, protective. "Which one are you about to tell me?" Charlotte looked at him, then at Lily, then at her hands, those barely scratched hands that should have been bleeding. "The truth," she said quietly. "The real one this time. But you're not going to like it. Try me." Charlotte took a breath. When she spoke, every word felt like a confession. "My name is Charlotte Winslow. I'm worth $300 million. The wedding was real. Grady leaving was real. But the wheelchair—" She paused, met his eyes. "I've been able to walk this entire time." The words hung in the air like smoke. Lily gasped. Ben felt something in his chest go cold and hard. "Get out," he said quietly. "Ben, please. Get out of my house. If you'll just let me explain why. You lied about being paralyzed." Ben's voice shook. Not with anger, with something worse. Betrayal. "You lied to get into our home. You used us. Whatever sick game you're playing, whatever test this is, we're done. Get out." Charlotte stood, slowly, and Ben watched as she rose from that couch on legs that worked perfectly, legs that had never been broken, legs that had carried her here on a lie. She was taller than he'd expected, steadier. Every inch the woman who belonged to those platinum cards and that $300 million fortune. "You're right," Charlotte said softly. "About all of it. I lied. I used you. I came here looking for something, and I found it, but not the way I expected." "What were you looking for?" "Proof that good people still exist. Proof that someone would help without knowing who I was or what I could give them." Charlotte's voice broke. "Grady left me because I told him I'd lost everything. I faked bankruptcy to see if he'd stay. He didn't. So I faked this too. One more test. One more way to see if anyone in this world sees people instead of dollar signs." "And we failed your test, is that it?" "No." Charlotte looked at Lily, then back at Ben. "You passed. That's the problem. You were real. You and your daughter and this cabin and that soup. It was all real, and I ruined it with a lie." "Yeah," Ben said. "You did." Charlotte moved toward the door, steady on those perfectly functional legs. She paused at the threshold, snow still falling outside, erasing everything. "For what it's worth," she said, not looking back. "Last night was the first time in 6 months I felt like a person instead of a bank account. Thank you for that. Even though I don't deserve it." Then she was gone, walking into the snow, wedding dress dragging through powder. No wheelchair, no pretense. Just a woman worth $300 million disappearing into the white. Ben stood frozen. Lily pressed against his side. "Dad?" "Yeah, baby. Are you okay?" Ben looked down at his daughter, this fierce, perceptive child who'd seen the truth from the beginning. "No," he said honestly. "But I will be." They watched from the window as Charlotte reached the road. A black SUV appeared within minutes. Driver jumped out, helped her inside. The kind of service that came with money. Real money. The SUV disappeared into the snow. "She was testing us," Lily said quietly. "Like we were an experiment." "Yeah. That's messed up." "Yeah." "But Dad..." "What?" She was crying, at the end. Real crying, I could tell. Ben had noticed that too. Charlotte's final tears hadn't been performance. They'd been regret. "Doesn't matter," he said. "She lied. End of story." But it wasn't. They both knew it. Because 3 days later, an envelope arrived. No return address. Inside was a check for $50,000 and a note in elegant handwriting. For the mortgage. For Lily's future. Not as payment, as apology. "You showed me something I'd forgotten existed. I'm sorry I couldn't do the same. C." Ben stared at the check. $50,000. More money than he'd see in 2 years of carpentry work. Money that could change everything. Pay off the cabin. Secure Lily's college fund. Give them breathing room. "Are you going to cash it?" Lily asked, reading over his shoulder. Ben thought about Charlotte's face when she'd confessed. The way she'd said, "You were real." Like that was something rare, something precious. "No," he said finally. "We don't need her money." "Dad, that's a lot of money." "I know, but we'll manage. We always do." Lily nodded. She understood. Taking the money would mean Charlotte had been right, that everyone had a price, that no one helped without expecting something back. Ben tore the check in half, then quarters, then eighths, let the pieces fall like snow. "Good," Lily said firmly. "We don't need people like that in our lives." But that night alone in his room, Ben thought about Charlotte's words. Everyone's performing. Everyone's hiding something. Was she wrong? He'd performed for Sarah those last months pretending to be stronger than he felt. He performed for Lily every day, pretending to have answers he didn't have. Maybe everyone was lying a little. Maybe the question wasn't whether you lied, but why. Charlotte had lied to find truth. To see if anyone would help without knowing her worth. And they had. They'd helped because that's who they were. So who was the real liar? The woman who faked paralysis to test humanity, or the world that had made her need that test in the first place? Ben didn't have answers, just questions. And the memory of a woman in a white dress walking into snow, finally standing on her own 2 feet more alone than she'd ever been. 3 weeks passed like winter fog, thick and slow. Ben threw himself into work, taking every carpentry job he could find. 12-hour days, fixing cabinets, building decks, anything to keep his hands busy and his mind quiet. It didn't work. Charlotte's face haunted him. Not the performance version, the careful mask she'd worn. The real face, the one that cracked open when she'd confessed. The way she'd said you were real, like it was the saddest thing in the world. "Dad, you're doing it again." Ben looked up from his coffee. Lily sat across the kitchen table, cereal bowl empty, watching him with those sharp, dark eyes. "Doing what?" staring at nothing, thinking about her. I'm not... Dad? Come on. You've been weird for 3 weeks, ever since she left. Ben sighed. No point lying to Lily. She always knew. I keep thinking about what she said, about everyone performing, testing people to see if they're real. So what? She's rich and paranoid. That's not our problem. But what if she was right? What if the world really is that broken? Lily pushed her bowl away. The world is broken, Dad. Duh. Mom died. We're barely making rent. You work yourself to death and we still can't afford new winter coats. But we're not broken. We're good. And we don't need some billionaire telling us who we are. When did you get so smart? I've always been smart. You just don't listen. Ben smiled despite himself. Fair point. So can we stop talking about the weird wheelchair lady and move on with our lives? Yeah, we can move on. But moving on proved harder than saying it. Because 2 days later, Ben's truck broke down. Transmission shot. Repair estimate came back at $4,000. $4,000 he didn't have. He sat in the mechanic's parking lot, staring at the estimate doing math that didn't work. He had $800 in savings. Maybe could pull together another $500 if he sold his table saw. Still short. His phone buzzed. Text from his foreman. Got a big job next week. 3-week build on a custom home in Boulder. $50 an hour if you want it. Boulder, where Charlotte lived. Ben's thumb hovered over the reply button. $50 an hour was good money. More than good. That job would cover the truck and then some. But Boulder, Charlotte City, what were the odds? Stop being stupid, he muttered to himself. Boulder was big. Hundreds of thousands of people. He'd never run into her. He texted back. I'm in. The job started Monday. Ben borrowed his neighbor's truck, dropped Lily at school, and drove 2 hours to Boulder. The custom home was massive, all glass and steel, perched on a hillside. The kind of place that screamed money. The kind of place Charlotte would own. You Harper. A man in a hard hat approached. Mid-50s weathered face. That's me? Rick. I'm the foreman. You're on interior finish work. Cabinets, built-ins, that sort of thing. Client's real particular about the details. I can do details. Good. Because this client, she's been through 4 contractors already. Real exacting standards. Rick lowered his voice. Between you and me, I think she's just lonely. Uses the construction as an excuse to have people around. Ben's stomach tightened. She live here? Nah, this is a guest house or something. Main estate's up the hill, but she comes by every day to check progress. Fair warning, she asks a lot of questions. Got it. Ben spent the morning measuring and cutting, losing himself in the work. Wood didn't lie. Measurements didn't perform. A board was straight or it wasn't. Simple. Around noon, he heard voices. Rick talking to someone. A woman's voice, soft but clear. Ben's hands stilled on the saw. The crown molding needs to be exact, the woman was saying. I know it seems excessive, but this room needs to feel warm. Like home. Yes, Ms. Winslow. We've got our best Finnish carpenter on it. Ben closed his eyes. Of course. Of course it was her. I'd like to meet him. Make sure he understands the vision. Footsteps approached. Ben straightened, turned around. Charlotte stood in the doorway. She wore jeans and a simple sweater, hair pulled back, no makeup. She looked younger than she had in that wedding dress, more real. Her eyes met his, and she froze. Ben. Charlotte. Rick looked between them, confused. You two know each other? We met once, Charlotte said carefully. Briefly. Small world, Rick said, oblivious to the tension. I'll let you two talk about the details. I've got calls to make. He left. Silence filled the space between them. Heavy, loaded. I didn't know you'd be here, Charlotte said finally. Same. I can request a different carpenter, if this is too awkward. It's fine. I need the work. Charlotte flinched. Right, of course. Work. She moved into the room, keeping distance. The plans are pretty straightforward. Built-in bookshelves on this wall, window seat with storage, crown molding throughout. I saw the plans. Good. Then we're all set. Ben should have left it there, should have nodded and gone back to work. Instead, he heard himself say, "Why are you building this? Excuse me. This house. Why?" Charlotte's jaw tightened. "That's not really your business. You made it my business when you showed up in my life 3 weeks ago and turned everything upside down. I apologized for that. I sent you money, which I tore up." "You what?" "Tore it up. Didn't cash it. Didn't want it." Charlotte stared at him like he'd spoken another language. "That was $50,000. I know what it was. And you just destroyed it." "Yeah." "Why?" Now it was Ben's turn to move closer. "Because you don't get it. You tested us to see if we'd help without knowing your worth. Well, here's our test back. We helped because that's who we are. Not because of what you could give us. Taking your money would have proven you right, that everyone has a price. So you're broke, and your daughter needs things, and you tore up $50,000 out of pride. Out of principle. There's no difference when you can't pay your bills. There's every difference." They stood 3 feet apart now, close enough that Ben could see Charlotte's hands shaking slightly. Close enough to see she wasn't wearing any of those expensive rings she'd had before. "You're angry with me," Charlotte said quietly. "Yeah. You have every right to be. I know. But you're still going to build these bookshelves. I said I need the work." Charlotte's laugh was bitter. "So your principles only go so far. That's not fair. Isn't it? You won't take my money directly, but you'll take it for labor. How is that different? Because I'm earning this, working for it. There's dignity in that. And there was no dignity in what I offered. You offered guilt money, apology money. This is a job, a fair trade." Charlotte turned away, staring out the window at the Boulder Hills. "You know what's funny? I built this house trying to create something real. Something that felt like that night in your cabin. Warm, simple, honest. But I can't buy that, can I? No matter how much I spend." Ben felt his anger soften slightly. Just slightly. "Why'd you do it, Charlotte? Really? Why lie about the wheelchair?" She was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was raw. "My father died when I was 23. Left me everything. $300 million I didn't earn, didn't deserve, didn't ask for. And overnight everyone in my life changed. My friends started asking for loans. My boyfriend proposed within a month. People I'd known my whole life suddenly saw me differently. So you pushed them away. I tested them, over and over, and they all failed. Every single one. The boyfriend admitted he was marrying me for security. The friends got angry when I said no to the loans. My own cousin tried to sue me for a piece of the inheritance." Charlotte's hands clenched into fists. "Grady was supposed to be different. I met him at a charity event. He had his own money, his own career. So I thought maybe finally this was real. But I needed to know for sure. So you faked losing it all." "I told him I'd made bad investments, lost everything, bankruptcy. And you know what he said?" Charlotte's voice cracked. "He said, I can't be with someone who's that irresponsible with money. Not, we'll figure it out. Not, I love you anyway. Just cold calculation. Cost-benefit analysis." "So you left him at the altar?" "No, he left me. But not before the wedding. After I told him the truth. Right there in the church, minutes before we were supposed to walk down the aisle, I confessed it was a test. And he was so relieved I still had the money. That's when I knew. He didn't love me. He loved what I represented." Ben started to understand. The wheelchair was another test. The final test. I wanted to see if anyone would help someone who had nothing to offer. No beauty, no wealth, no ability to repay. Just a broken person in the snow. Charlotte finally turned back to face him. "And you did. You and Lily. You helped without question, without hesitation. You were real. Until you lied to us. Until I lied to you. They stared at each other, all the anger, all the betrayal, all the confusion hanging between them. I was wrong, Charlotte said, about everything. I thought the lie was necessary to find truth. But all it did was destroy the one real thing I'd found in 6 months. So yeah, build the bookshelves. Build the whole house. Try to make it feel like that night in your cabin. It won't work, because you can't build real. You just have to be it. She walked out before Ben could respond. He stood alone in the empty room, saw in hand, mind spinning. That night, Ben told Lily everything. They sat at the kitchen table, the same table where Charlotte had eaten soup, and he laid it all out. The job, the confrontation, Charlotte's story. Lily listened in silence. When he finished, she said, "So she's even more messed up than we thought." Lily. What? It's true. Normal people don't test other people like that. Normal people don't inherit $300 million at 23 either. So we're supposed to feel sorry for her poor little rich girl. Ben sighed. I don't know what we're supposed to feel. I just know she's in pain. Real pain. And maybe we're the only people who've seen it. That's not our responsibility, Dad. No, it's not. Ben looked at his daughter. But what if we're the only ones who can help? She doesn't need help. She needs therapy. Maybe, but she's also paying me $50 an hour for 3 weeks. That's $4,000. That's our truck fixed and then some. Lily's expression shifted. Oh. Yeah. Oh. So what are you going to do? My job, build the bookshelves, stay professional. And if she tries to talk to you again? Ben thought about Charlotte's face when she'd said, "You can't build real." The defeat in her voice, the loneliness. Then I'll listen, because that's what we do. Right? Lily rolled her eyes. You're impossible. Learn from the best. The next 2 weeks fell into a rhythm. Ben arrived at 7, worked until 5. Charlotte came by every day around noon. At first, she stayed away talking only to Rick. But gradually, inevitably, they drifted into conversation. Small things at first. Charlotte asking about the wood grain. Ben explaining the joinery techniques. Professional, safe, but slowly, carefully, it became more. Lily doing okay? Charlotte asked one afternoon, watching him measure. She's fine. Suspicious of you, but fine. Smart kid. Too smart sometimes. Charlotte smiled slightly. I was like that as a kid. Drove my father crazy. Always asking why, always questioning everything. What was he like, your father? Brilliant. Driven. Started his tech company in a garage and built it into an empire. But he was also kind. He used to say money was just a tool. What mattered was what you built with it. Sounds like a good man. He was, until the heart attack. 62 years old. Dropped dead in his office. Charlotte's voice went flat. Didn't even get to retire. Didn't get to enjoy anything he'd built. Just worked himself to death. Ben thought about his own 60-hour weeks. His aching back. His constant exhaustion. I'm sorry. Me too. And the worst part, I'd give every penny back to have one more conversation with him. One more dinner. One more chance to say I loved him. Charlotte looked directly at Ben. So when people tell me money doesn't matter, I want to scream. Because they're right. It doesn't. And that's the tragedy. I have all this money, and it can't buy the only things that actually matter. Like what? Like trust. Like real connection. Like knowing someone wants you and not what you represent. Ben set down his measuring tape. Is that why you're building this house, trying to recreate that feeling? Pathetic, right? No. Human. Charlotte's eyes glistened. I keep thinking about that night. The soup. The fire. Lily drawing that picture of the three of us. For 3 hours I felt like I belonged somewhere. Then I ruined it. You did. Always honest. You said you wanted real. That's what real looks like. It's harder than I expected. Most things worth having are. They fell into silence. Comfortable silence, Ben realized. The kind that comes from understanding, not performance. Can I ask you something? Charlotte said finally. Sure. Why didn't you cash the check? Really, forget pride and principle. What was the real reason? Ben considered lying, giving her the easy answer. Instead, he told the truth. Because if I took your money, then you'd be right. About people. About the world. And I need to believe you're wrong. I need to believe that somewhere, somehow there are still people who help because it's right, not because there's profit in it. Taking your check would have killed that belief. And that belief is all I've got left some days. Charlotte stared at him, then quietly. Your truck broke down. How did you... Rick mentioned you were borrowing a neighbor's vehicle, I guessed. It's fine. This job will cover the repairs. $4,000 for a transmission. That's the going rate. Ben's jaw tightened. Don't. Don't what? Don't fix it. Don't pay for it. Don't swoop in and solve my problems. Why not? Because then you're right back where you started, trying to buy connection. And I'm right back to being someone you're testing. What if I'm not testing? What if I just want to help? Then let me earn it. Let me work. Let me keep my dignity. Charlotte nodded slowly. Okay, no fixing, no money, just conversation. Just conversation. Deal. They shook hands. Her grip was firm, warm. Ben felt something shift. Not forgiveness exactly, but maybe the beginning of understanding. That night, Ben dreamed of Sarah. She stood in their kitchen looking exactly as she had before the cancer, and she was laughing at something he'd said. You always collect strays, she said. Remember that three-legged dog you brought home? That was different. Was it, you see something broken and you can't help yourself? Have to fix it. I can't fix Charlotte. She's not broken. Sarah smiled. Everyone's broken, Ben. We're all just trying to hide it better than the next person. Question is, do you want to help her heal, or do you want to prove a point? Ben woke with the answer. The next day, he brought his lunch instead of driving into town, sat in the empty room with sandwiches and thermos of coffee. When Charlotte arrived at noon, he gestured to the floor beside him. Want to eat? She hesitated, then sat. What changed? Nothing. Everything. I don't know. Ben handed her a sandwich. But I figure if we're going to work together for another week, might as well stop circling each other like suspicious dogs. Charlotte laughed. Actually laughed. Is that what we're doing? Isn't it? Maybe. She took a bite. This is good. What is it? Turkey and Swiss. Nothing fancy. It's perfect. They ate in silence for a minute. Then Charlotte said, Can I tell you something true? No performance, no test, just truth. Okay. I'm lonely. Have been for years. Since my father died, maybe longer. And I don't know how to not be lonely anymore. I've tried everything. Therapy, medication, meditation. I've traveled to 30 countries, donated to 50 charities, bought houses and cars and art, and none of it touches the loneliness. It just sits there in my chest like a stone. Ben understood that loneliness, had felt it every night since Sarah died. That particular ache of being surrounded by life, but feeling separate from it. That night in my cabin, he said carefully, that helped. For 3 hours, I forgot I was lonely. I was just there, present, real. Then I ruined it. So make it right. How? Start by being honest. With me, with yourself, with everyone. Stop testing and start trusting. What if I get hurt? You will. That's guaranteed. But you'll also get real. And real beats lonely every time. Charlotte's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, frowned. It's my lawyer. I should take this. Go ahead. She stepped outside. Ben heard her voice through the window, sharp and businesslike. This was Charlotte Winslow, the billionaire. Different from the woman eating turkey sandwiches on his floor. When she returned, her face was troubled. Everything okay? That was about Grady. He's suing me. For what? Emotional distress. Claims my test at the wedding humiliated him, damaged his reputation. He wants $5 million. Ben felt anger flash. That's insane. That's lawyers. And honestly, he might win. I did lie to him, did humiliate him publicly. The fact that he deserved it doesn't change the liability. Fight it. I am. But it's exhausting. Everything is so complicated when you have money. Every relationship, every interaction, someone's calculating what they can get from you. Not everyone. No, not you. Charlotte met his eyes. You tore up $50,000. Grady's suing for $5 million. Kind of makes my point. Makes mine too. Good people exist. You just have to find them. How? Stop looking so hard. Stop testing. Just live. Be yourself. The right people will show up. Like you did. Like I did. Charlotte smiled, sad but genuine. You give me hope, Ben Harper. That's dangerous. Why dangerous? Because hope hurts when it dies. Then don't let it die. 3 days later, the bookshelves were finished. Ben stood back surveying his work. Perfect joints, smooth finish, the kind of craftsmanship Sarah used to praise. Charlotte ran her hand along the wood. It's beautiful. Thanks. It feels right, like it belongs. That's the goal. She turned to him. The job's almost done. Yeah. So this is it. You'll finish up, collect your check, and we'll go back to being strangers. That's how it works. Does it have to? Ben felt his chest tighten. Charlotte, I know, you don't trust me. You shouldn't. I lied to you, manipulated you, used your kindness as an experiment. But I'm asking anyway. Can we try to be friends? Real friends, no tests, no games. Just two people who met in the worst way possible and somehow found something real anyway. Lily won't like it. Lily's smart to be suspicious. I'll earn her trust, however long it takes. I can't be bought. I know. That's why I'm asking. Ben looked at Charlotte. Really looked. Past the wealth, past the lies, past the performance. He saw someone trying, someone scared. Someone who'd been hurt so many times she'd armored herself with tests and trials. Someone not that different from him. Okay, he said finally. Friends, but rules. No lying, no games. And you meet us on our terms. Our cabin, our life. You want in, you come as yourself, not the billionaire. Just Charlotte. Just Charlotte. She extended her hand. Deal. They shook. And Ben felt it again, that shift. Like standing on the edge of a cliff, taking the step, finding solid ground beneath his feet after all. Fair warning, he said. Lily's going to grill you like a suspect. Good. She should. I can handle a 9-year-old. Ben laughed. You've never met Lily. But Charlotte was already smiling, genuine and nervous and hopeful. And for the first time since that snowy night 3 weeks ago, Ben thought maybe, just maybe, this could work. He was wrong about Lily being able to handle Charlotte. Dead wrong. Charlotte showed up at their cabin the following Saturday at 10 in the morning, driving a modest Honda instead of the black SUV. Jeans and a flannel shirt, hair in a ponytail. Trying so hard to look normal, it almost hurt to watch. Ben opened the door. Lily stood behind him, arms crossed, face set like stone. Hi, Charlotte said, nervous smile flickering. I brought muffins. Blueberry. I wasn't sure if you liked them, but the bakery said they were popular, so... We don't want your muffins, Lily said flatly. Lily, Ben warned. What? We don't. Charlotte's smile faltered, but held. That's okay. I understand. Can I come in anyway? Lily looked at her father. Ben nodded. Lily stepped aside with obvious reluctance. Charlotte entered like she was walking into a courtroom, every movement careful, every breath measured. She set the muffins on the kitchen counter and turned to face them both. "I know you don't trust me," she started. "Correct," Lily interrupted. "And I know I have to earn that trust, so I'm here. No agenda, no test, just me trying to make things right." "You can't make it right," Lily said. "You lied about being paralyzed. That's sick." "You're right. It was. And you used us, pretended to need help when you didn't." "Yes. And you're only here now because you're lonely and you think we're some kind of charity case you can fix to make yourself feel better about being a terrible person." "Lily." Ben's voice was sharp now, but Charlotte held up a hand. "No, she's right, about some of it. I am lonely, desperately, and I did think maybe knowing you and your dad would fill that emptiness. But you're not a charity case. You're not a fix. You're just good people. And I haven't been around good people in so long I forgot what they looked like." Lily studied her with those dark, suspicious eyes. "My dad says you're worth $300 million. "Yes." "Why aren't you living in some mansion somewhere? Why are you bothering us?" "Because mansions are empty, and I'm tired of empty." "So buy some friends." "I tried that. Doesn't work." "Then I guess you're stuck," Lily said. "Because we're not for sale." Charlotte's composure cracked slightly. "I know that. That's why I'm here." "Lily, that's enough," Ben said firmly. "Charlotte's our guest. We're going to be civil." "Since when do we let liars be guests?" "Since I decided. Now either sit down and give her a chance or go to your room." Lily glared at both of them, then stalked to the couch and sat with exaggerated hostility. "Fine. I'll watch. But I don't trust her." "Fair," Charlotte said, sitting in the rocking chair. She looked at Ben, who remained standing. "This is harder than I expected." "What did you expect?" "I don't know. That you'd be happy to see me. That Lily would be curious. That maybe 3 weeks was enough time for the anger to fade." "3 weeks is nothing," Lily said from the couch. "My mom's been dead 4 years and I'm still angry about that. You think 3 weeks fixes lying?" Charlotte's face went pale. "You're right, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have assumed." "Stop apologizing," Lily snapped. "That's what rich people do. Apologize and throw money around and think it makes everything better. My dad's worked himself half to death since Mom died. We eat soup 4 nights a week. Our truck just broke down. And you show up with your muffins and your nice words and expect us to what? Be grateful." "Lily, that's enough," Ben said, but his voice was gentler now. His daughter was hurting, and hurt came out as anger. "No, she needs to hear this," Lily continued, voice rising. "You don't get to just walk into our lives because you're bored with being rich. You don't get to test us like we're experiments. We're real people with real problems, and we were fine before you showed up." "Were you?" Charlotte's voice was quiet but firm. "Because from where I'm sitting, you're a 9-year-old girl who lost her mother and built walls so high nobody can reach her. And your father works himself to exhaustion trying to fill a hole that can't be filled. And you're both so scared of being hurt again that you push away anyone who gets close." The room went silent. Lily's face flushed red. "You don't know anything about us." "Don't I? I recognize the walls, Lily, because I built the same ones. Different materials, same structure. You push people away before they can leave. I test them until they fail. We're doing the same thing for the same reason. We're nothing alike. Aren't we? You lost someone you loved and decided the world was dangerous. So did I. You protect your dad because you're scared of losing him too. I pushed everyone away because I was scared they'd leave like my father did. We're both terrified and angry and trying so hard to control everything we can't see. We're just making ourselves more alone." Lily's eyes glistened. She looked at Ben, then back at Charlotte. "I hate you." "I know. You don't get to come here and act like you understand me." "You're right. I don't. But I'd like to try." "Why? What's in it for you?" Charlotte leaned forward. "Nothing. Everything. I don't know anymore. All I know is that night I spent here, eating soup and watching you draw pictures, I felt something I haven't felt in 6 years. I felt like I mattered for who I was, not what I had. And maybe that makes me selfish. Maybe I'm using you again. But I'm being honest about it this time. Lily stood abruptly. I need air. She grabbed her coat and walked out, slamming the door behind her. Ben moved to follow, but Charlotte stopped him. Let her go. She needs space. She's upset. She's processing. There's a difference. Ben sat heavily in the chair Lily had vacated. That went well. She's protecting you. It's actually beautiful. It's exhausting. Love usually is. They sat in silence. Outside, through the window, Ben could see Lily sitting on the porch steps, arms wrapped around her knees. Small and fierce, and so much like Sarah, it hurt. She's right, you know, Ben said finally. About us being fine before you showed up. We were managing. That's not the same as fine. No, but it was stable, predictable. Now everything's complicated again. Charlotte nodded slowly. I can leave, if that's what you want. Walk away and never come back. Let you go back to managing. Is that what you want? No, but this isn't about what I want. Ben looked at her, really looked. She wore no makeup today. He could see the dark circles under her eyes, the tension in her jaw. She was as exhausted as he was, just in different ways. What happened after you left? He asked. That day you walked out, where did you go? Charlotte's laugh was hollow. Back to my empty house. Sat there for 3 days, staring at walls. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Just kept replaying that night over and over. The soup, the fire. The way Lily looked at me like I was a specimen. The way you looked at me like I was human. And I realized I'd spent 6 years testing people, and the only test that mattered was whether I could be honest. Whether I could stop performing and just exist. So I called my therapist. Had 4 sessions in 1 week. Started actually dealing with my grief instead of armoring myself with it. That's good. It's hard. Turns out being real is terrifying. But staying fake was killing me so. Charlotte shrugged. Here I am, attempting real, failing spectacularly. You're not failing. Your daughter hates me. She's scared. Not the same thing. Feels the same. Ben stood, moved to the window. Lily was still on this porch, but her shoulders had relaxed slightly. Give her time. She'll come around. How much time? However long it takes. Charlotte joined him at the window. They stood side by side, watching Lily watch the woods. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why are you giving me a chance? After everything, why not just slam the door in my face? Ben thought about that. About Sarah's voice in his dream. About the 3-legged dog he'd rescued when he was 12. About the way his mother had always said broken things deserved kindness too. Because everyone deserves a second chance. And because I think you're trying. Really trying. That counts for something. Even though I don't deserve it. Especially because you don't deserve it. Grace isn't earned, it's given. Charlotte's voice cracked. I don't know how to do this. How to be friends without agenda, without calculation. I'm so used to protecting myself, I don't know how to just be open. Then start small. One honest thing at a time. Okay, one honest thing. Charlotte took a breath. I'm terrified right now. Terrified that Lily will never accept me. Terrified that you'll realize I'm not worth the effort. Terrified that I'll mess this up, like I mess everything up. And I almost didn't come today because staying in my safe, empty house felt easier than facing this rejection. But you came anyway. But I came anyway. That's brave. That's desperate. Sometimes they're the same thing. The door opened. Lily stood there, face blotchy but dry. I'm hungry. Can we eat the stupid muffins now? Ben smiled. Yeah, baby. We can eat the muffins. They sat around the small kitchen table, the three of them, and ate blueberry muffins that cost more than Ben's weekly grocery budget. Charlotte asked Lily about school. Lily answered in monosyllables. Charlotte tried again. Lily softened fractionally. By the third muffin, they were almost having a conversation. "What's your favorite subject?" Charlotte asked. "Math." "Really? I hated math." "That's because you're bad at it." "Lily," Ben warned. But Charlotte laughed. "She's not wrong. I barely passed algebra. Had to hire a tutor." "Math is easy," Lily said. "It's honest. 2 plus 2 is always 4. No tricks, no lies." Charlotte's smile faded. "I guess you'd appreciate that." "Yeah, I would." They finished eating in silence that was slightly less hostile than before. Progress, Ben thought. Tiny, fragile progress. "Can I see your room?" Charlotte asked Lily. "Why?" "I don't know. Feels like if we're going to try being friends, I should know what your space looks like." Lily considered this, then stood. "Fine, but don't touch anything." She led Charlotte down the narrow hall. Ben stayed in the kitchen, giving them space, listening to their voices through the thin walls. "You draw?" Charlotte's voice. "Sometimes." "These are really good. Is this your family?" "That's me and Dad and Mom. Before." "Your mom was beautiful." "Yeah." "You look like her." "Everyone says that." Pause. Then Charlotte again. "Can I tell you something true about my mom?" "I guess." "She left when I was 7, just walked out one day and never came back. My dad said she couldn't handle the pressure of his success, that she needed to find herself. But I always thought maybe she just didn't want me." Lily's voice softer now. "That's really sad." "Yeah. So when my dad died, I didn't just lose him. I lost the only parent who stayed, the only person who chose me." "Is that why you test people to see if they'll stay?" "Yeah, that's exactly why." "That's stupid." "Probably." "My mom didn't choose to leave. She wanted to stay. Cancer took her." "I know. Your dad told me." "So at least I know she loved me. You don't even have that." Charlotte's voice was thick when she answered. "No, I don't." More silence. Then Lily quieter. "I'm sorry I said I hated you. I don't hate you. I just don't want my dad to get hurt." "I don't want to hurt him." "Yeah, but you will. Everyone does eventually." "Not everyone. Your dad told me about Mrs. Chen, the neighbor who helped when your mom was sick. She didn't hurt you." "Mrs. Chen's different." "How?" "She didn't want anything from us. She just helped." "I don't want anything from you either, Lily. Except maybe a chance to prove I'm not the person I was that night, that I can be better." Long pause. Ben held his breath. Finally, Lily spoke. "You can come back. Next weekend. But you have to bring better muffins. These were too sweet." Charlotte's laugh was watery. "Deal." They emerged from Lily's room, both looking slightly raw, but lighter. Charlotte caught Ben's eye and smiled. Real smile. Not performance. Not calculation. Just relief. "I should go," she said. "Let you two have your day." "You don't have to," Ben said. "Yeah, I do. Baby steps, remember." Charlotte grabbed her keys. At the door, she turned back. "Thank you, both of you, for giving me another chance." "Don't waste it," Lily said, but there was no venom in the words. "I won't." After Charlotte left, Lily came and stood next to Ben. They watched the Honda disappear down the mountain road. "She's still weird," Lily said. "Yeah. But maybe not as bad as I thought." "Maybe not." "Dad." "Yeah, baby. Are you going to fall in love with her?" Ben's heart stuttered. "What?" "No, we're just friends." "That's what you said about Mom at first. That you were just friends. This is different." "How?" "Because Mom wasn't carrying $300 million of baggage and trust issues." "So you're saying if she was normal, you would fall in love with her?" "I'm saying it's complicated." Lily looked up at him with those knowing eyes. Adults always say that when they don't want to admit the truth. What truth? That you already like her, more than friends. Lily? It's okay, Dad. I don't mind. Not really, as long as she doesn't hurt you. She won't. You don't know that. No, but I'm choosing to believe it anyway. Lily nodded slowly. Okay, but if she does hurt you, I get to say I told you so. Deal. Charlotte came back the next weekend. Better muffins this time from a local bakery. She stayed for lunch, helped Lily with math homework, asked Ben about his carpentry projects. It was awkward and stilted, and they all tried too hard, but it was something. The weekend after that, she brought ingredients and they cooked together. Charlotte didn't know how to chop onions. Ben taught her. Lily critiqued her technique mercilessly. Charlotte took it with grace and humor. The weekend after that, they hiked. Easy trail, 2 miles, nothing fancy. Charlotte wore expensive hiking boots that were clearly brand new and gave her blisters. She didn't complain once. Slowly, carefully, they built something. Not friendship exactly, not yet, but the foundation of it. The possibility. 6 weeks after Charlotte first returned, Ben's foreman called with another job. Bigger this time. A commercial project in Denver. 8 weeks of steady work at good pay. I'll have to stay in Denver during the week, Ben told Lily over dinner. Come home weekends. You can stay with Mrs. Chen. Or Charlotte could stay here, Lily said casually. Ben nearly choked on his water. What? Charlotte. She could stay here during the week. Keep me company. Make sure I do my homework and stuff. Lily, that's asking a lot. So, she's got nothing else to do. She told me she works from home, and most of her job is just boring meetings on her laptop. We can't just ask her to move in for 2 months. Why not? She practically lives here on weekends anyway. Ben couldn't argue that. Charlotte had become a fixture in their lives, showing up every Saturday morning, staying through Sunday evening. She'd learned where they kept the coffee mugs. Knew Lily took her eggs scrambled, not fried. Had her own spot on the couch. I'll think about it, Ben said. Don't think, ask. That Saturday, Ben pulled Charlotte aside while Lily was in her room. Can I talk to you about something? Sure, what's up? I've got a job in Denver. 8 weeks. I'd have to stay there during the week. That's great. You need the work. Yeah, but Lily would be alone. Mrs. Chen can watch her, but I'll do it. Ben blinked. What? I'll stay with Lily during the week, if you're comfortable with that. Charlotte, that's a huge ask. You didn't ask. I'm offering. Why? Charlotte met his eyes. Steady. Sure. Because Lily's become important to me. You both have, and because I can help. Easily. So let me. You'd be giving up 2 months of your life. To spend time with people I care about. That's not giving up. That's gaining. What about your work? I can do it anywhere. Perks of being the boss. What about your house? Your life? My house is empty and my life is lonely. This is better. Ben searched her face for calculation for hidden agenda. Found only honesty. Simple, clear honesty. Okay, he said finally. But rules. No special treatment for Lily. No buying her things. No trying to fix our problems with money. Agreed. And you eat what we eat, sleep on the couch, live like we live. Deal. And if at any point it gets weird or uncomfortable, you tell me. I will. Charlotte extended her hand. Partners. Ben shook. Her grip was firm now, confident. Not the trembling, uncertain grip from that first day. Partners. Lily came out of her room, looked between them. So she's staying? She's staying. Ben confirmed. Good. I'm tired of Dad's cooking anyway. Hey, Ben protested. What, you burn everything? Charlotte laughed. Real full laugh. The kind Ben hadn't heard from her before. The kind that came from genuine joy instead of polite courtesy. And Ben realized with a jolt that felt like falling that Lily might be right. He might already be in deeper than friends. But that was a problem for another day. Right now, he had a job to start, and a daughter to prepare, and a billionaire moving onto his couch. Somehow, impossibly, his life had become more complicated and more simple at the same time. Monday morning, Ben packed a bag and drove to Denver. Charlotte arrived an hour later with a small suitcase and her laptop. "Ready?" Ben asked. "Terrified," Charlotte admitted. "But ready." "She's tough but fair. Just be yourself." "Which self? I have so many." "The one who showed up. That's the right one." Charlotte nodded, took a breath, knocked on the door like she didn't already have a key. Lily answered. "You're late." "5 minutes." "Still late. Come on, I've got homework." Ben kissed Lily's forehead, hugged Charlotte briefly, and left them there. Two people who'd started as strangers' enemies, even now responsible for each other. He drove away, trying not to worry, trying to trust, trying to believe this fragile thing they'd built could hold. Behind him in the cabin, Charlotte and Lily sat at the kitchen table with math books spread between them. "Okay," Charlotte said. "Let's do this." "Let's do this," Lily agreed. And for the first time in 6 years, Charlotte Winslow felt like she was exactly where she belonged. The first week was a disaster. Charlotte burned breakfast 3 times. She didn't know how to work the ancient washing machine and flooded the bathroom. She accidentally threw away Lily's science project, thinking it was trash. And on Wednesday night, she had a panic attack at 2 in the morning because she'd never been responsible for another human being before. And what if something happened and Ben trusted her and she was going to ruin everything? Lily found her sitting on the kitchen floor, hyperventilating. "You're breathing wrong," Lily said, surprisingly calm. "Dad taught me. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. Charlotte tried, failed, tried again. "In for 4? Lily repeated, demonstrating. "Come on, you can do it." Slowly, painfully, Charlotte's breathing evened out. She looked at Lily through tears. "I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be taking care of you." "Yeah, well, you're doing a terrible job." Charlotte laughed, choked sound but real. "Brutal honesty. I appreciate that. Dad says honesty's the only thing worth having." "Your dad's right about a lot of things." Lily sat down on the floor next to her. They leaned against the kitchen cabinets in silence. Finally, Lily said, "You miss him." It wasn't a question. "Yeah," Charlotte admitted. "Is that weird?" "No, I miss him too, and it's only been 3 days. He calls every night." "It's not the same as him being here." "No, it's not." More silence. Then, Lily quieter. "My mom used to have panic attacks. After her diagnosis, she'd sit in the bathroom at night trying to breathe. I'd hear her through the wall. I'm sorry." Dad would sit with her. Just sit. Didn't try to fix it. Just stayed. Charlotte understood. "You want me to teach you that? How to just stay. I already know how. I'm doing it right now." And she was. This fierce 9-year-old who had every reason to hate Charlotte was sitting on the cold kitchen floor at 2 in the morning, breathing slowly, teaching by example. "Thank you," Charlotte whispered. "You're welcome. But you still burned breakfast." 3 times. 3 times. They sat there until Charlotte's hands stopped shaking. Then Lily stood, offered her hand, pulled Charlotte up with surprising strength. "Come on, we should sleep. School's in 5 hours. "Do you ever get scared?" Charlotte asked. "At night, when everything's quiet." Lily's face was solemn. "Every night. But Dad says being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means doing things anyway." "Your dad's very wise." "Yeah, he is. That's why you like him." Charlotte froze. "What?" "I'm not stupid. I see how you look at him. How you smile different when he calls. How you wore makeup last weekend even though we were just hiking." "Lily, I don't." "It's okay. I told you I don't mind. As long as you don't hurt him." I'm trying not to. Try harder. They went to their separate spaces. Lily to her room, Charlotte to the couch that had become her bed. But neither slept well. When Ben called Thursday evening, Charlotte was in the middle of helping Lily with history homework. She put him on speaker. "How's it going?" Ben's voice filled the small cabin warm and familiar. "Great," Charlotte and Lily said simultaneously, then looked at each other. "That was suspiciously synchronized," Ben said. "What's really happening?" "Charlotte flooded the bathroom," Lily reported. "And Lily ate ice cream for breakfast twice this week," Charlotte countered. "Traitor," Lily hissed. Ben laughed. "Sounds like you're both surviving. Good." "How's Denver?" Charlotte asked. "Exhausting. The project's bigger than they said. Might run 9 weeks instead of 8. Charlotte felt her stomach drop. Another week. She'd thought she was handling this temporary arrangement, but the thought of extending it made her realize how much she'd come to depend on the routine. Wake up, make breakfast, drive Lily to school, work from the cabin, pick Lily up, homework, dinner, Ben's call, sleep, repeat, simple, uncomplicated, real. "We'll be fine," she said, hoping it was true. "I know you will. Lily, you being good. Define good." Not giving Charlotte gray hairs. "Too late," Charlotte muttered. "I heard that," Ben said. "Seriously, though, you two okay?" "Yeah, Dad, we're okay." After they hung up, Lily looked at Charlotte. "You don't want him to stay another week." "It's fine." "You got sad when he said 9 weeks instead of 8. "I didn't." "Your voice changed. I noticed things." Charlotte set down the history textbook. "You're right. I don't want him gone longer. But that's selfish. He needs the work." "It's not selfish to miss people." "Isn't it? When I have no claim on his time." "You're living in his house, taking care of his kid. You've got some claim." "That's different." "How?" Charlotte didn't have an answer. Or rather, she had too many answers, and none of them were simple. She missed Ben, missed his presence, his laugh, his steadiness, missed the way he looked at her like she was just Charlotte, not Charlotte Winslow worth 300 million. Missed conversations that didn't require performance, missed him in ways that went beyond friendship. "I think I'm in trouble," Charlotte said softly. "Because you like my dad. Because I'm more than like your dad." Lily studied her with those knowing eyes. "Does he know?" "God, no. And he can't. It would ruin everything." "Why?" "Because he's still grieving your mom. Because I'm a mess. Because I lied to him and hurt him, and he's only tolerating me because he's a good person. Because the second he knows I have feelings, it changes everything, and I can't lose this. I can't lose you both." "You won't lose me. Promise. Promise. But I can't speak for Dad." That weekend, Ben came home. Charlotte had cleaned the cabin, restocked the fridge, made sure everything was perfect. She told herself it was because she was grateful for the hospitality, not because she wanted to impress him. She was lying to herself, and she knew it. Ben walked through the door Friday night at 7, exhausted and covered in sawdust. He dropped his bag, hugged Lily, then turned to Charlotte. "You survived." "Barely," Charlotte said. "But yes." "The cabin's still standing. That's promising." "Low bar, but I'll take it." They ordered pizza because nobody felt like cooking. Sat around the table like they had dozens of times before, except it felt different now. Charlotte had lived here for a week, had slept on this couch, eaten at this table, existed in Ben's space without him. It felt like trespassing and belonging at the same time. "So," Ben said, finishing his third slice, "what really happened this week?" Lily and Charlotte exchanged glances. "Charlotte had a panic attack," Lily said. "Lily," Charlotte protested. "What?" he asked. Ben's face shifted to concern. "You okay?" "I'm fine. It was just overwhelming. Being responsible for someone. I've never done that before." "You should have called me. At 2 in the morning, you needed sleep." "I would have come back." I know. That's why I didn't call. Ben looked between them. Anything else I should know? I flooded the bathroom, Charlotte admitted. And I had ice cream for breakfast, Lily added. Twice. Twice. Ben shook his head, smiling. You two are a mess. Yeah, Charlotte agreed. But we're managing. That night, after Lily went to bed, Ben and Charlotte sat on the porch. Cold November air stars overhead, comfortable silence between them. Thank you, Ben said finally. For staying. For taking care of her. She takes care of me as much as I take care of her. Still, it means something. You being here. Charlotte's heart hammered. What does it mean? Ben was quiet for a long moment. I don't know yet, but something. Ben. I should sleep. Long drive back to Denver tomorrow. He stood, hesitated. You're doing good, Charlotte. Better than good. Just wanted you to know that. He went inside before she could respond. Charlotte sat alone in the dark, heart-racing mind spinning. What did something mean? Did he feel it too, this shift between them? Or was she projecting her own feelings onto his kindness? She didn't know. Couldn't know. And asking would risk everything. The weeks blurred together. Ben home on weekends, gone during the week. Charlotte and Lily building their own rhythm. Homework and meals and small domestic routines that felt like playing house, except it was real life and the stakes were higher than Charlotte had ever imagined. Week 3. Lily got sick. Nothing serious, just a cold, but she was miserable. Charlotte stayed home from a work meeting to sit with her make-soup watch terrible daytime TV. You don't have to do this, Lily said, voice congested. I want to. Why, I'm not your kid. Charlotte thought about that. No. But you're important to me, and important people get taken care of. Mom used to say that love was action, not words. Your mom was smart. Yeah. Lily blew her nose. Do you love us, me and Dad? The question hung in the air, dangerous and honest. Yeah, Charlotte said. I do. Even though we're poor and complicated. You're not poor, and I'm way more complicated than you are. That's true. You're a mess. Thanks. But you're our mess now, so I guess we're stuck with you. Charlotte's eyes burned. I guess you are. Week 4. Charlotte's lawyer called. Grady's lawsuit was moving forward. He wanted a deposition, wanted Charlotte to answer questions under oath about the wedding, the test, everything. She sat on the porch after the call, trying not to spiral. Lily found her there. Bad news. Yeah. The lawsuit. You know about that. I listen. Adults think kids don't pay attention, but we do. Charlotte smiled weakly. Yeah, the lawsuit. He wants me to testify. Are you going to? I have to. What if you lose? Then I pay him $5 million and he gets to feel like he won. That's stupid. He's the one who left you. I'm the one who lied first. Set the test. In his mind, I'm the villain. Lily sat down next to her. In your mind, what are you? I don't know anymore. I thought I was protecting myself, testing him to see if he was real, but maybe I was just scared. Maybe I pushed him away before he could leave me. Like your mom did. Like my mom did. That's sad. Yeah. But you're different now. You didn't push us away. I tried. You just wouldn't let me. That's because we're stubborn. Dad says it's a family trait. Charlotte laughed despite everything. You're good for me, you know that. I know. Dad says that too. That weekend, Ben noticed Charlotte was off. Quiet. Distracted. Saturday night, after Lily went to bed, he confronted her. What's wrong? Nothing. Charlotte, I know nothing. This isn't nothing. She sighed. Grady's lawyer wants a deposition. Next week. I have to go back to Boulder, answer questions about the wedding. About everything. You want me to come with you? The offer surprised her. You'd do that? Yeah. Why? Because you shouldn't have to face that alone. Ben, you have work. I'll take a day off. You can't afford. Let me worry about what I can afford. Charlotte felt tears threaten. You don't have to rescue me. I'm not rescuing. I'm supporting. There's a difference. What's the difference? Rescuing is doing something for someone because you think they can't do it themselves. Supporting is standing next to them while they do it. I know you can handle this, but you don't have to handle it alone. Charlotte broke. Just completely broke. Tears came fast and hard, and Ben pulled her into his arms and let her cry against his chest. I'm scared, she whispered. Scared of seeing him again. Scared of answering questions. Scared they'll make me sound like a monster. You're not a monster. How do you know? Because monsters don't cry. Monsters don't care. You care so much it's killing you. She cried harder. Ben just held on steady and solid, and exactly what she needed. When the tears finally stopped, Charlotte pulled back. Sorry, I got your shirt wet. It's a shirt. It'll dry. Ben, let me come with you, to the deposition, please. Charlotte searched his face, found only sincerity. Okay, but just as a friend. Supporting. Just as a friend. They both knew it was a lie, but they said it anyway. The deposition was scheduled for Tuesday at 2. Ben picked Charlotte up from the cabin Monday afternoon. Lily stayed with Mrs. Chen. They drove to Boulder in Ben's newly repaired truck, the one Charlotte's job had paid to fix, even though they both pretended not to acknowledge that connection. You nervous? Ben asked. Terrified. What's the worst that can happen? I say something wrong and he wins $5 million. That's money. What's the real worst thing? Charlotte thought about that. That I have to sit across from him and remember why I loved him, and realize it was never real. Maybe it was real, just not strong enough. Is there a difference? Yeah. Real means it existed. Strong enough means it survived. Most things don't survive. Doesn't mean they weren't real. Did you love Sarah? Really love her? With everything I had. Does it still hurt? Every day. But differently now. Less sharp. More like an ache. Do you think you'll ever love someone else? Ben glanced at her. Maybe. If the right person showed up. Charlotte's breath caught. And what would the right person look like? Honest. Brave enough to be broken. Willing to stay even when it's hard. That's a tall order. Yeah. But worth waiting for. They arrived at the lawyer's office. Sterile building, fluorescent lights. Everything cold and professional. Charlotte's hands shook as they walked in. Grady was already there. Sitting in the conference room, looking exactly as Charlotte remembered. Handsome, polished, radiating confidence. His lawyer sat next to him, expensive suit, expensive watch, expensive smile. Grady's eyes widened when he saw Ben. Who's this? A friend, Charlotte said. Friends don't usually attend depositions. This one does. The lawyer cleared his throat. Mr. Harper, you'll need to wait outside. This is a legal proceeding. Ben looked at Charlotte. She nodded. I'll be fine. I'll be right outside. After he left, Grady leaned forward. So, you've moved on. That was fast. This isn't about him. No, because from where I'm sitting it looks like you replaced me with some carpenter. Don't. Don't what? Point out the truth that you test everyone, Charlotte, including him. How long before you push him away, too? Charlotte's lawyer intervened. Let's begin the deposition. The next 2 hours were brutal. Question after question about the wedding, that test her motivations. Grady's lawyer painted her as manipulative, calculating, cruel, made her sound like a monster playing games with people's lives. And the worst part? Some of it was true. Ms. Winslow, would you say you enjoy deceiving people? No. But you did deceive my client, repeatedly. The fake bankruptcy, the wedding. Would you call that honest behavior? No. Would you call it loving behavior? I was scared. That's not an answer. I was scared he didn't love me for me. I needed to know. So you lied to find truth. Do you see the contradiction there? Charlotte's voice shook. Yes. Have you lied to other people in your life? Friends, family? Sometimes. What about Mr. Harper, the man waiting outside? Have you lied to him? Charlotte's throat closed. Yes. What did you lie about? I pretended to be paralyzed, made him think I needed help when I didn't. So you manipulated him. I was testing him. Testing. Manipulating. Same thing, isn't it? No. Then explain the difference. Charlotte couldn't, because sitting there answering these questions, she realized there wasn't a difference. She'd manipulated Ben just like she'd manipulated Grady. Different lie, same motivation. Fear dressed up as self-protection. I can't, she whispered. Grady's lawyer smiled. No further questions. Charlotte stumbled out of the conference room 2 hours later, feeling like she'd been flayed open. Ben stood immediately, searched her face. How bad? Bad. Let's get out of here. They were almost to the door when Grady appeared. Charlotte, wait. She turned. He looked uncertain, almost vulnerable. Nothing like the confident man in the conference room. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For how this went. My lawyer's aggressive. It's not personal. It felt personal. Yeah, I guess it did. Grady glanced at Ben, then back to Charlotte. Is he the real thing? What? Your carpenter. Is he what you were looking for? Charlotte felt Ben tense beside her. I wasn't looking for anything. That's not true. You've been looking your whole life, testing everyone, trying to find someone who'd stay. Did he pass? That's none of your business. Maybe not, but I hope he did. I hope he's everything I wasn't. Because you deserve that, Charlotte. You deserve someone who sees past the money to who you really are. Why are you saying this? Because I'm tired of being angry, tired of this lawsuit. My lawyer thinks we'll win, but even if we do, what have I won? Money I don't need and the satisfaction of hurting someone I used to love. That's not who I want to be. So drop the suit. I can't. It's too far along. But I can say I'm sorry. For leaving you at the altar. For not being strong enough. For seeing the test instead of seeing you were just scared. Charlotte's eyes filled. I'm sorry too, for lying, for testing you. You didn't deserve that. No, but I understood it. Eventually. They stood there, two people who'd almost gotten married, saying goodbye to what could have been. Be good to her, Grady said to Ben. She's more fragile than she looks. I know, Ben said quietly. Grady nodded and walked away. In the truck, Charlotte sat frozen. Ben started the engine but didn't drive. You okay? No. Want to talk about it? They made me sound like a monster. Like I enjoy manipulating people. Enjoy the games. Do you? No. God, no. I hate it. Hate what I've become. Hate that I'm so scared of being hurt I hurt everyone first. So stop. It's not that simple. Isn't it? Just stop testing. Stop protecting. Start trusting. What if I get hurt? Then you get hurt. But at least you'll be real. Charlotte laughed bitterly. Real. That word again. I don't even know what that means anymore. Ben was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, Can I tell you something true? Please. I'm falling for you. Have been for weeks, and it scares me because you're complicated and rich and still figuring yourself out. But it's real. What I feel. It's real and it's terrifying, and I'm done pretending it's just friendship. Charlotte's heart stopped. Ben, I know the timing's wrong. I know you're dealing with this lawsuit and Lily and your own stuff, but I'm tired of lying. Even lies of omission. So there it is. I have feelings for you, real ones. And you can do whatever you want with that information. I have feelings for you, too. I know. You know. Lily told me 3 weeks ago. Charlotte laughed, shocked. That traitor. She's perceptive. She's nosy. That too. They sat in the truck in the parking garage, city sounds echoing around them. Everything changed. So now what? Charlotte asked. Now we figure it out. Together. No more tests. No more games. Just honesty. I'm not good at honesty. Then practice. Start with something small. Charlotte took a breath. I'm scared that the second you really know me, you'll leave. Because everyone leaves. My mom, my dad, Grady. Everyone. And I couldn't survive you leaving. I just couldn't. I'm not leaving. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because I've already seen you. The real you. Broken and scared and trying so hard. And I'm still here. For now. For as long as you'll have me. Charlotte looked at him. Really looked. Saw steadiness there. Honesty. The real thing she'd been testing for her entire adult life. I don't know how to do this, she whispered. Neither do I. But we'll figure it out. What about Lily? She already knows. Already approved. Told me not to mess it up. Smart kid. The smartest. Ben reached across the console, took Charlotte's hand. She laced their fingers together, felt the calluses from his work, the strength in his grip. This is real, she said. Not a question, a statement. Yeah, this is real. They drove back to the cabin holding hands, the future uncertain, the present enough. When they walked into the cabin that night, Lily was waiting on the couch, arms crossed, face serious. So, she said, you told him. Ben blinked. How did you? You're holding hands. You never hold hands. Also, Charlotte's been crying, and Dad looks like he just won the lottery and got punched in the stomach at the same time. That's oddly specific, Charlotte said. I'm observant. We've established this. Lily stood, walked over to them. So are we doing this, like actually doing this? Doing what? Ben asked carefully. Being a family. The three of us. Because if we are, I need to know. I need to prepare. Charlotte's heart clenched. Prepare for what? For caring about you more than I already do. For letting you in all the way. For the possibility that this could work. Lily's voice cracked slightly. Or that it could fall apart and hurt worse than anything since Mom died. Ben knelt down eye level with his daughter. Baby, nothing's guaranteed. You know that. But we're going to try. Charlotte and I were going to try to make this work. And if it doesn't, then we deal with it. Together. Like we always do. Lily looked at Charlotte. Do you promise to be honest? No more tests. No more lies. I promise, Charlotte said. I'm done lying. To you, to your dad, to myself. This is me, messy and scared and trying. Okay. Lily nodded once, decisive. Then I'm in. But ground rules. Ground rules? Ben raised an eyebrow. Yeah. First, no gross couple stuff in front of me. No excessive kissing or whatever. Deal, Charlotte said, fighting a smile. Second, Dad still makes pancakes on Sunday. That's our thing. Wouldn't dream of changing it, Ben said. Third, if you two fight, you don't put me in the middle. You work it out like adults. Agreed, they said simultaneously. And fourth. Lily paused suddenly, looking younger than 9. You don't leave, either of you. If this gets hard, you stay and fight for it. Because I can't do this again. Can't lose someone else I love. Charlotte dropped to her knees, pulled Lily into a hug. I'm not going anywhere, I swear. You better not, because I'll hunt you down. I believe you. That night, after Lily went to bed, Ben and Charlotte sat on the porch like they had dozens of times before. Except this time, Charlotte leaned against Ben's shoulder. This time, his arm wrapped around her. This time, everything was different and exactly the same. I can't believe Lily gave us ground rules, Ben said. She's protecting herself. I get it. Yeah, but still, 9 years old and negotiating relationship terms. She's wise beyond her years. She has to be. Life made her that way. Charlotte tilted her head to look at him. Do you ever resent that she had to grow up so fast? Every day. But I'm also proud. She's stronger than I was at 9. Hell, she's stronger than I am now. You're pretty strong yourself. I hide it better. They sat in comfortable silence. Then Charlotte said, "What happens now with us? What do you want to happen?" "I don't know. I've never done this before. Real relationship with real stakes." "Neither have I. Not since Sarah." "Does that scare you?" "Terrifies me. But the alternative is worse." "What's the alternative?" "Not trying. Staying safe. Being alone." Ben turned to face her fully. "I've been alone for 4 years, Charlotte. Safe and lonely and slowly disappearing into work and routine. Then you showed up in that wedding dress, and everything shifted. I don't want to go back to safe. Even though I'm complicated and damaged and come with $300 million of baggage, especially because of all that. The money's irrelevant. The complicated is interesting. And damaged. We're all damaged. Question is whether we damage each other or help each other heal. Which do you think we'll do? Both. Probably. But more healing than damaging. Charlotte kissed him, soft and tentative, and full of promise. Ben kissed back gentle, careful, like she was something precious. When they pulled apart, Charlotte was crying. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Everything. I just never thought I'd have this. Something real. Someone who sees me and stays anyway. I'm staying. Promise. Promise." The next few weeks were an adjustment. Ben finished his Denver project and came home for good. Charlotte moved from the couch to Ben's room, though they told Lily it was because her back hurt from the old cushions. Lily rolled her eyes but didn't comment. They built routines. Ben cooked breakfast. Charlotte drove Lily to school. They had family dinners every night, no phones allowed. Homework at the kitchen table. Board games on Friday nights. Church on Sundays, which surprised Charlotte until Ben explained it was more about community than religion. "Plus, Mrs. Chen will never forgive me if I stop going," he added. Charlotte met Mrs. Chen officially that first Sunday. The elderly woman took one look at her and said, "So you're the rich girl who lied about the wheelchair?" "Yes, ma'am." "Stupid thing to do." "Yes, ma'am." "But you're trying to make it right." "Every day." Mrs. Chen nodded. "Good. Ben deserves happiness. You hurt him, I hurt you." "Understood." "Also, your muffins are too sweet. Next time use less sugar." Charlotte laughed. "Yes, ma'am." She fit into Ben's life easier than she'd expected. The community was small. Everyone knew everyone, and they were curious about the newcomer. Some were suspicious. Some were welcoming. Most were cautiously optimistic. "Give them time," Ben said. "Small towns move slow." But Charlotte was patient. For the first time in her life, she wasn't in a rush, wasn't testing or calculating or planning 3 moves ahead, just living, day by day, moment by moment. 3 weeks after they officially got together, Charlotte's lawyer called with news. Grady had dropped the lawsuit. "What?" "Why?" "He said he'd thought about what you said at the deposition. Decided pursuing this wasn't worth the emotional cost. He's walking away." Charlotte sat down hard. "Just like that. Just like that. You're free." After she hung up, she found Ben in his workshop, sanding a cabinet door. He dropped it. The lawsuit. Grady dropped it. Ben set down the sandpaper. "How do you feel?" "I don't know. Relieved, confused, like I should feel more than I do. You don't owe him gratitude." "I know. But part of me wonders if I should reach out. Say thank you." "Do you want to?" Charlotte thought about that. About Grady in the parking garage apologizing, wishing her well. about the years they'd spent together, the love that had been real, even if it wasn't strong enough. "No," she said finally. "I think I just want to let it go, move forward instead of looking back." "Then that's what you do." "Is it really that simple?" "Yeah, it really is." Charlotte moved into Ben's arms, rested her head on his chest. "I love you." It was the first time she'd said it. The words hung in the air, vulnerable and true. Ben's arms tightened around her. "I love you too. Even though I'm a mess. Especially because you're a mess. My mess now." That's what Lily said. She's wise. She's terrifying. That too. December arrived with heavy snow. The cabin was cold despite the heating, and they spent evenings huddled under blankets drinking hot chocolate watching Lily do homework. Charlotte's work had slowed down for the holidays. Most of her employees were taking time off, and for the first time in years, she wasn't scheduling meetings or planning acquisitions, just existing, being present. "What do you usually do for Christmas?" Ben asked one night. "Nothing. My housekeeper puts up a tree. I order takeout. Pretty depressing, actually." "Not this year," Lily announced from her homework. "This year you're doing Christmas with us." "I don't want to intrude." "Too late. You're already intruding on everything else." "Lily," Ben warned. "What she is. She's in Dad's room eating our food using our shower. Might as well do Christmas, too." Charlotte laughed. "Fair point. Okay. What do Harpers do for Christmas?" "We cut down our own tree," Lily said. "Make decorations, bake cookies, watch terrible Christmas movies. And Dad always burns the turkey." "I do not burn the turkey." "You did last year." "That was the oven's fault." "Sure, Dad, the oven." They went tree hunting the next weekend. Trudged through snow in the national forest. Lily running ahead, Ben and Charlotte following hand in hand. "This is nice," Charlotte said. "Cold and exhausting. Real. It feels real." "That's because it is real." They found a perfect tree 7 feet tall, full and symmetrical. Ben cut it down, while Lily supervised, and Charlotte tried not to freeze. Dragged it back to the truck, tied it to the roof, drove home laughing and covered in pine needles. Setting it up was chaos. The stand was broken. The tree leaned left. Lights tangled. Ornaments fell and shattered. By the end, they were all frustrated and snapping at each other. "This is a disaster," Lily declared. "It's character," Ben argued. "It's a crooked disaster tree." Charlotte stood back looking at the lopsided tree with its mismatched ornaments and tangled lights. "I love it." "You're being nice," Lily said. "No, I really love it. It's not perfect, but it's ours, and that makes it perfect." Ben pulled her close. "You're getting sappy." "It's Christmas. I'm allowed." That night after Lily was asleep, they sat by the crooked tree lights, twinkling fire crackling. "This is my first real Christmas in years," Charlotte admitted. "How's it feel? Messy, chaotic, perfect." "That's family for you." "Is that what we are now, a family?" "What else would we be?" Charlotte thought about that. About the three of them building something together. Not perfect, not easy, but real. "Yeah," she said. "We're a family." 2 days before Christmas, Charlotte got a call from her business manager. Emergency meeting required. Major decision about a potential acquisition. "I have to go to Boulder," she told Ben. "Just for the day. Meeting at 10, should be back by dinner. Want company?" "No, stay with Lily. Finish the cookies. I'll be fine." But she wasn't fine. The meeting dragged for 6 hours. Technical issues, legal complications, everyone wanting her opinion on details she didn't care about. By the time she got back in her car, it was almost 8. Dark, snowing hard. She called Ben. "I'm going to be late. Weather's bad. Might not make it back until 10 or 11. Drive safe. We'll wait up." "You don't have to." "We want to." Charlotte drove carefully, but the snow was relentless. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. The mountain roads were treacherous, winding, dangerous in good weather, and deadly in bad. She was 15 minutes from the cabin when her phone rang. Boulder number. Unknown. She answered on speaker. "Hello. Ms. Winslow. This is Boulder General Hospital. You're listed as emergency contact for Grady Stevens." Charlotte's heart stopped. What happened? "Mr. Stevens was in a car accident. He's in surgery now, critical condition. We need you to come to the hospital." "I'm 2 hours away." "Please come as soon as you can." Charlotte pulled over, hands shaking. Grady, critical condition, surgery. She should go, had to go. He had no family, no one else. But Ben and Lily were waiting. Christmas was in 2 days. Going to Boulder meant missing tonight, possibly tomorrow. She called Ben, explained the situation. "Go," he said immediately. "Grady needs you." "But Christmas?" "We'll wait. This is important." "Are you sure?" "Charlotte, go. We'll be here when you get back." She turned the car around, drove back toward Boulder, tears streaming. Not for Grady exactly, for the life she'd left behind. The complications that followed her everywhere. The fact that even now, even in her happiness, the past reached out and pulled her back. The hospital was chaos. She found Grady's room after 2 hours of waiting. He was unconscious, machines beeping, face pale and bruised. His doctor explained. Drunk driver, T-bone collision, internal bleeding, broken ribs, possible brain injury. Touch and go for the next 24 hours. Charlotte sat in the chair next to his bed and waited. She called Ben at midnight. "I can't leave, not until he wakes up, or doesn't." "I understand." "I'm sorry. I know it's Christmas." "Stop apologizing. You're doing the right thing." "Am I? I don't even love him anymore. But I'm sitting here because he has no one else, and that feels like my responsibility somehow." "That's because you're a good person. Better than you think." "I miss you." "Miss you too. But you're where you need to be." Charlotte spent Christmas Eve in a hospital chair. Nurses brought her terrible coffee. She scrolled through her phone, looking at pictures of Ben and Lily aching to be home. At 3 a.m, Grady opened his eyes. "Charlotte?" She moved to his bedside. "I'm here." "Why?" "Because you needed someone, and I was someone." "You didn't have to come." "Yeah, I did." He closed his eyes again, too weak to argue. Charlotte sat back down. He woke again at 7. More alert this time. "How bad?" "Bad, but you'll survive." "That's something." He turned his head to look at her. "You should go home, to your carpenter and his kid. I'll be fine." "You just woke up from surgery." "And I've got nurses. You've got family waiting. Go." "Grady, I'm serious. Thank you for coming, for sitting here. But this isn't your responsibility anymore. We ended. I dropped the lawsuit. You don't owe me anything." Charlotte felt tears sting. "I wanted to be here." "I know, but you want to be somewhere else more, and that's okay. That's how it should be." "You scared me. The call. I thought you might die." "Takes more than a drunk driver to kill me. I'm stubborn that way." Charlotte laughed wetly. "Yeah, you are." "Go home, Charlotte. Be happy. That's all I want for you." She leaned down, kissed his forehead. "You too. Be happy. Find someone who doesn't test you." "I'll try." Charlotte left the hospital at 8 on Christmas morning. Drove 2 hours through snow, exhausted and emotional and desperate to get home. She walked into the cabin at 10. The tree was lit. Presents underneath. Lily was on the couch in pajamas. Ben was making pancakes. They turned when she entered. Lily jumped up, ran to her, hugged her hard. "You came back." "Of course I came back. This is home." Ben pulled her into his arms, held her tight. "How is he?" "Going to be okay. Told me to leave, to come home to you." "Smart man." "Yeah, he is." They spent Christmas Day doing nothing special. Opened presents, ate pancakes, watched terrible movies, napped together on the couch. It was simple and perfect, and everything Charlotte had never known she wanted. That night, after Lily was asleep, Ben gave Charlotte one more present. Small box wrapped carefully. What is it? Open it. Inside was a key. Simple brass key on a plain ring. It's to the cabin, Ben said. Official. You're not just staying here anymore. You live here. With us. If you want. Charlotte's throat closed. You mean it? Yeah, I mean it. This is your home now, for as long as you want it. Forever, Charlotte whispered. I want it forever. Then forever it is. Charlotte kissed him, tasting salt from her own tears. I love you, both of you, more than I thought I could love anything. We love you too, even when you're complicated. Especially when I'm complicated. Especially then. They held each other in the darkness, the crooked tree glowing softly, the cabin warm around them. January came quietly. Charlotte officially moved her things from Boulder. Not much, really. Most of her possessions felt hollow now. She sold the big empty house, donated most of the furniture, kept only what mattered. Photos of her father. Her mother's wedding ring that she'd kept all these years despite everything. A few books, some clothes. Everything else was just stuff. And stuff didn't make a home. You sure about this? Ben asked as they unpacked boxes in his bedroom. Our bedroom, Charlotte corrected. And yes, I'm sure. That house was never home. This cabin, you and Lily, this is home. It's small. It's perfect. It's falling apart. So are we. We match. Ben laughed, pulled her close. What about your work? Remote. I told my board I'm stepping back, promoting my VP to CEO. I'll stay on as chairman, but most of the day-to-day is his now. Charlotte, you can't just walk away from your company. I'm not walking away. I'm choosing what matters. The company will be fine. Better, probably. I was holding on out of obligation to my father, not because I loved it. This, though. She gestured around the small bedroom to the cabin beyond. This I love. You're going to get bored. Small-town life isn't exactly exciting. Good. I'm tired of exciting. I want boring. I want routine. I want to drive Lily to school and make dinner and sit on the porch with you every night. That's not boring. That's living. Ben studied her face. You mean it. Every word. Then welcome home. They kissed slow and deep until Lily yelled from the kitchen, Stop being gross and help me with this math problem. Charlotte laughed against Ben's mouth. Duty calls. Yeah, it does. They went to help Lily with homework, this makeshift family that had formed from lies and tests and desperation. Not perfect, not easy, but real. February brought Lily's 10th birthday. Charlotte spent weeks planning, wanting it to be special. Ben kept telling her to relax, but Charlotte couldn't. This was her first birthday as part of the family. It had to be perfect. The party was small. 10 kids from school, Mrs. Chen, a few neighbors. They decorated the cabin with streamers, baked a cake that only slightly collapsed, played games that Charlotte didn't understand, but threw herself into anyway. Watching Lily laugh with her friends, watching Ben grill burgers. Despite the cold, Charlotte felt something shift. The last piece of her armor fell away. She wasn't performing anymore, wasn't testing, wasn't protecting. She was just there, present, real, home. That night, after everyone left and the cabin was quiet again, Lily hugged Charlotte hard. Thank you, for the party. For everything. You're welcome. I'm glad you stayed. Me too. Even though I was mean to you at first, especially because you were mean to me, you were protecting your dad. That's love. Lily pulled back, looked up at Charlotte with those wise, dark eyes. Do you think my mom would like you? Charlotte's breath caught. I don't know. I hope so. I think she would. You make Dad happy, and you're trying really hard to be good to us. Mom always said effort matters more than results. Your mom was very wise. Yeah, she was. Lily paused. Do you think you'll marry Dad? I don't know. Maybe, if he asks. He will. He's just scared. What's he scared of? Same thing as you. That it won't last. That it's too good to be true. What do you think? Lily smiled. I think you're both being stupid. You love each other. Just admit it and make it official. Is that your professional opinion? That's my professional opinion. Charlotte laughed. I'll take it under advisement. March brought the first signs of spring. Snow melted. Wildflowers started pushing through the ground. The cabin felt less like a shelter from winter and more like a real home. Ben started taking on bigger carpentry projects. Word had spread about his work, and suddenly he had more jobs than he could handle. Charlotte helped with the business side, invoicing, scheduling, managing supplies. It felt strange at first, using her business skills for something so small, but it also felt right. You're good at this, Ben said one night, reviewing the books she'd organized. I ran a company. I better be good at basic accounting. No, I mean, you're good at fitting in, making yourself useful without taking over. That's new for me. Usually I just take over. I noticed. Is it okay? Me helping? It's more than okay. It's partnership. Charlotte smiled. Yeah, it is. April brought unexpected news. Charlotte's business manager called with an offer. Another company wanted to acquire her father's company. Full buyout. $800 million. That's more than double what the company's worth, Charlotte said, stunned. They're not buying the company. They're buying your father's patents, his innovations, his legacy. Charlotte thought about her father, about the man who'd built something from nothing, who'd worked himself to death, who'd left her more money than she could ever spend, but no roadmap for what to do with it. I need to think about it. She told Ben that night, explained the offer, the implications, the decision. What do you want to do? He asked. I don't know. It's my father's company, his life's work. Selling it feels like betraying him. Or honoring him, letting his work continue in new hands. How do I know which it is? You don't. But you can ask what he would have wanted. Charlotte thought about that. About her father's words. Money is just a tool. What matters is what you build with it. He'd want me to be happy, to use the resources he left me to build something good. Then there's your answer. Charlotte called her business manager the next morning. Accept the offer, but with conditions. I want half the money set up in a foundation, education grants for kids who've lost parents, scholarship programs, support for single parents trying to make ends meet. That's $400 million. I'm aware. Do it anyway. And the other $400 million? Charlotte thought about the cabin, about Ben working himself to exhaustion, about Lily's future, about building something that mattered. I'll figure that out, but not yet. Right now, I just want to live. She hung up and looked at Ben, who'd been listening from the doorway. $400 million, he said, to charity. Yeah. Charlotte? Don't say it's too much. Don't say I'm being reckless. This money has been a weight around my neck since my father died. Time to use it for something good. I was going to say I'm proud of you. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Ben pulled her into his arms. You're building something real. Finally. Took me long enough. Better late than never. That night, Charlotte couldn't sleep. She walked out to the porch, found Ben already there. Couldn't sleep either, she asked. Too much on my mind. Like what? Ben took a deep breath, pulled a small box from his pocket. Charlotte's heart stopped. I know it's only been 6 months, Ben started. I know we're still figuring things out. I know I should probably wait longer, make sure this is really what we both want. But I'm tired of waiting. Tired of being careful. Tired of letting fear make my decisions. He opened the box. Inside was a simple ring. Silver band, single, small diamond. Nothing extravagant. Nothing showy. Just real. Charlotte Winslow, will you marry me? Charlotte stared at the ring through tears. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely yes. Ben slipped the ring on her finger, kissed her hard. They held each other in the dark, the mountains silent around them, the future uncertain but theirs. The door opened. Lily stood there in pajamas grinning. Finally, I thought you'd never ask. You were listening, Ben said. Of course I was listening. This is important. Lily came and hugged them both. We're really doing this, becoming an official family. We're really doing this, Charlotte confirmed. Good, because I already told Mrs. Chen, and she's planning the wedding. Lily. What? She asked when you were going to make an honest woman out of Charlotte. I said probably April. Looks like I was right. Charlotte laughed, overwhelmed and happy, and more grateful than she'd ever been. This family. This life. This second chance she'd almost thrown away. I love you both, she said. So much it scares me. Good, Lily said. Love should be a little scary. That's how you know it's real. When did you get so wise? I've always been wise. You're just now noticing. They stood together on the porch, three people who'd found each other in the strangest way possible. Not perfect. Not without complications. But real. So beautifully, wonderfully real. 6 months ago, Charlotte had been a woman in a wedding dress, stranded and alone, testing humanity one more time. Now she was home. She was loved. She was building something that mattered. And for the first time in 6 years, she wasn't scared of what came next. Because whatever came next, they'd face it together. This makeshift family built on honesty and second chances, and the courage to stay even when it was hard. That was real love. Not perfect. Not easy. But worth fighting for. And Charlotte Winslow, who'd spent her whole life testing people, had finally found something that passed every test. Home.